Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. Marek Falenta, a businessman sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for secretly recording top politicians, has suddenly become a hero of the opposition. Their unexpected support is the result of recent threats Falenta made to law and justice politicians. The businessman is demanding a pardon from the Polish president, threatening to reveal the high-ranking masterminds behind the recordings. Alexander Zarszycka has more on recent turn of events.
Was it a criminal group of politicians connected to the Law and Justice Party who toppled the government in 2015? This was the question posed today by Civic Platform politicians in connection with the third pardon application made by Marek Falenta to the Polish president. They are pushing hard for a new parliamentary investigative commission. We demand that the matter will be investigated. We demand the creation of a special parliamentary investigative commission in order to explain the alleged influence on elections using illegal methods. It is clear that his objective is to avoid going to jail. He desperately defends himself, and this is not serving him any good. I have known President Andrzej Duda for many years, and he is not going to respond to such scandalous blackmail.
Jeżeli ktoś zaczyna mylić prawo łaski z szantażem.
If someone starts to confuse the presidential pardon with blackmail, we need to worry. Here, Mr. Falenta is starting to blackmail the Polish president by saying that he already showed what he can do, and now you better watch out. This is very disturbing. Let me remind you that this very Civic Platform party, when they held the majority, rejected the same proposal. This time around, this move doesn't make any sense because such a commission would end its term at the same time the same ends its term. The election is in 4 months, and we have a campaign ahead of us. Let the new state of parliamentarians worry about that, and I will worry about it if I get elected. It is interesting to see how the opposition behaves. It is the same with the media associated with them. Up until now, Mr. Falenta was considered the source of all evil. Now, all of a sudden, he's being portrayed as the righteous man, an expert on Watergate. The 5th anniversary of the Watergate will be in 3 days. That was when the first transcripts of the recordings were published. We probably will see the continuation of the affair during the upcoming election campaign.
The meeting between President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, and US President Donald Trump at the White House will take place tomorrow. The plan for increasing the presence of US troops in Poland will be made public during the meeting. On this occasion, a demonstration of support for the permanent presence of American troops in Poland, organised by the Gazeta Polska clubs, will take place in front of the White House on June 12th. Local governments have warned that there won't be enough places in high schools for all the potential pupils, particularly in larger cities. However, today, the new Minister of Education, Dariusz Piontkowski, had made assurances that there will be enough high school places.
This year will be very hard for high schools because middle school populace along with 8th graders will graduate. Instead of 358,000 candidates, this year will be 727,000. The new Minister of Education has stated that there will be a place for everyone. We want to make sure that this situation doesn't raise doubts. All parents can be sure that their children will have places in high schools. In big cities, students can file documents to many schools. That is why it appears that there won't be enough places for everyone.
Jesteśmy pewni, że ta sytuacja nie budzi wątpliwości.
The problem is especially problematic in big cities. The worst situation is in the capital, when there is a shortfall of more than 7,000 places. We did a lot, but we still have a problem. We need 7,000 more places. Students have the possibility to change their preferences by June 19th, but the classes will be full and schools will be operating a two-shift system. It's not only schools who may not have enough places. The problem also concerns boarding houses. The Law and Justice Party has made assurances that there won't be any chaos in schools. The number of students in the years 2010 and 2019 are not that different. I remember Rafał Trzaskowski's press conference when it was said that there won't be enough places for students, but it was possible to make more places in high schools and fewer in technical institutes. 10 cities are demanding recompensations for the effect of the education reform from the Ministry of Education. The Minister of Education, Dariusz Piontkowski, responded that the local governments got the appropriate funds earlier.
Poland's most famous immigrant from Chechnya, the former champion of mixed martial arts, Mamad Khalidov, has been arrested by the Anti-Terrorist Operations Office on charges of involvement with gang trading in stolen luxury cars. The hearing will probably take place tomorrow. Khalidov is the fifth person to have been arrested in connection to this case. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has stated that the threat of import tariffs against Mexico will remain in order to guarantee that enough progress is being made on Mexico's commitment to stem illegal immigration from Central America to the United States. Meanwhile, migrants on the Guatemalan-Mexican border are finding it increasingly difficult to cross into Mexico and continue their journey onto the US.
The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told reporters during a briefing that the U.S. will place tariffs on Mexican goods if sufficient progress isn't made by Mexico on curbing illegal mass immigration to the U.S.
You saw that the announcement was that the president would indefinitely suspend the tariffs. That means if it's the case that we're not making sufficient progress, that there's risk that those tariffs will go back in place.
Pompeo also stated that additional measures against mass immigration are being discussed with Mexico and could be taken if necessary.
And we have full confidence, as the President tweeted yesterday, that Mexico will fulfill its shared commitments. We'll continue to work with Mexico to discuss migration and asylum issues, and if necessary, we'll take additional measures that the Mexican government agreed to during these conversations as well.
Many Mexicans are relieved that an agreement with the U.S. was reached and that no import tariffs has been placed on Mexican goods. It's also a common view that the Central American migrants are troublemakers, making life hard for the locals. The migrants come here as if they were Mexicans and they cause trouble. Videos have been uploaded where they assault Mexican people, hit street vendors, and assault them. They have to stop all that because it's not okay. We're not invading another country, so they shouldn't come and invade ours. Migrants who have recently crossed it into Mexico and gathered in the border town Tapachula are finding it more difficult to continue north toward the U.S. border as military and police presence has increased significantly in recent days. To get out of the city of Tapachula, it's very difficult. I know this path along the border well, and it's very hard to go on foot. That's my job to get to the United States. U.S. border officers caught over 132,000 people crossing from Mexico in May, the highest monthly level since 2006. Mexico and the United States are discussing additional measures to curb the crisis, and will make an announcement on the matter within 90 days.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather. It's followed by the business, culture, history, and finally the travel.
Hello and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. Tonight the temperatures will vary from 18 degrees around Katowice, Krakow, Rzeszów and Lublin and up to 21 degrees in Bydgoszcz, Olsztyn and Gdańsk. No showers will be appearing, but it will be quite cloudy. Tomorrow during the day we are expecting up to 34 degrees in Bydgoszcz, 33 degrees in Warsaw and Poznań, and the coolest area will be the area of Rzeszów with 29 degrees. It will be very sunny tomorrow without any showers, so we need to be careful because the temperatures will be very high. On Thursday, the minimum temperature will be 23 degrees in the northwest, so a bit cooler, and up to 32 degrees in the northeast. On Friday and Saturday, a bit warmer, 27 degrees will be the minimum on Friday, and the maximum will be 30 degrees in central Poland, and on Saturday, the maximum temperature will be 32 degrees in the western parts of the country. This is all for tonight. Thank you.
You're watching Poland Daily Business. Tonight we'll talk about Polish-United States relationships, and our expert in the field is Professor Artur Wróblewski of Lazarski University. Sir, welcome to the show.
Hello.
And let us start. This presidential visit of President Andrzej Duda in the United States has been prepared for last 9 months or something like that?
Yes, and I think it's eighth conversation between our president and the president of the United States. It shows very high frequency of personal contacts between the White House and our Polish White House here in Warsaw, which is a very good sign and prognostics before this meeting on June 12th. We can expect very fruitful conversations and, first of all, a good agreement which will solidify our partnership and alliance between Poland and the United States.
The President Donald Trump wrote a book called Art of the Deal. So what are the sides of the deal, Poland and the United States? What are the stakes of both countries?
I think the stakes are very high, not only for Poland. Of course, for Poland it is the most vital issue, existential issue. We will get probably more American boots on the ground here in Poland, which will, of course, increase our perception of security, and in reality it will increase security not only for Poland, but for the whole region, Three Seas area, we could say. But also for the United States, it's a good deal, good business, because probably American companies will invest money not only in production of military hardware here in Poland, but also we will cooperate in this energy dimension. Maybe we will get the most up-to-date technology regarding the atomic plant, which will be constructed in Poland by 2031, and by 2041-42 we'll have up to 6 atomic plants here in Poland, which will increase our security in energy field, and we will rely then only in 30% on Polish coal, which is actually a good way to diversify energy production.
And make it more clean to the environment, and also the energy usage per person in Poland is about half of the same measure in South Korea. And if we are aiming high to speed up the development, economical development of the country, we definitely need to look at the energy we are using.
We need more energy, and we need more sources of energy production. If we want to develop our economy, we need to produce soon over 20 billion cubic meters of gas, for example, in order to support our energy system. That's why we will be relying soon on Baltic Pipe or American LNG, which is another element of this energy dimension and cooperation with the United States. LNG, liquid natural gas. We will be importing soon over 10 billion cubic meters of gas, natural gas or LNG from the United States, which will of course make us less reliable on gas from Russia.
Yeah, this Russian energy yoke that is put on the most of the countries of our region.
We feel it sometimes, especially in the winter time, when it is becoming a weapon of chantage sometimes.
Right, so there will be less chances to that. So you mentioned the military energy, this industrial cooperation. The Poland's economy is pegged to the German economy, as it being said. Most of the Polish producers are then selling their products to Germans, who are selling their machines and products to the world. Are we able to get the better trading position within the European Union as a closer partner to the United States?
Definitely, our bargaining position will be better, because we will not be dependent anymore to such extent on German economy, and the Germans are feeling it, that things are changing. Now they cannot dictate everything they want to Poland and to our region. We are a very important partner for Germany, so they have to take care of us, but they see that there is someone else looming on the horizon, the United States. So they have to take care of us more. And we are trying to do something what Trump is trying to do in relations with Canada, Mexico or China. We are leveling playing fields or leveling our trading fields with our partners in the European Union, especially in Germany. We don't want to destroy our cooperation in economic terms in Germany. We want simply to make it fair and better.
Okay, for the United States, important is to have the reciprocal trade with countries, with Poland. I guess we are exporting slightly more to the United States than the United States exports to us.
That's why it's a good situation, but it's almost equal. So we are not taking advantage of the United States, like, for example, Germany or China. Those countries have huge deficit, or United States has huge deficit with China and Germany. We are a very safe and responsible partner. We are not exploiting each other. We are selling and buying more or less equally. And first of all, we have more and more investments from the United States. United States invested over $40 billion after 1989. It supports almost 300,000 people working in those new jobs created after the transformation in Poland started. It shows huge potential still, because our relations are really not very amazing, I would say so. So we can increase our trade volume, and we are aiming for it.
Okay, so we'll see how these meetings that are going on or expected
in Nevada, Texas, and California, in San Francisco.
Right, will be projected to the Polish economy. Artur Włodarski of Lazarski University, sir, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And that was it for tonight's Poland Daily Business.
Hello and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. Tonight the temperatures will vary from 18 degrees around Katowice, Krakow, Rzeszów and Lublin and up to 21 degrees in Bydgoszcz, Olsztyn and Gdańsk. No showers will be appearing, but it will be quite cloudy. Tomorrow during the day we are expecting up to 34 degrees in Bydgoszcz, 33 degrees in Warsaw and Poznań, and the coolest area will be the area of Rzeszów with 29 degrees. It will be very sunny tomorrow without any showers, so we need to be careful because the temperatures will be very high. In the next 3 days we will see that on Thursday the minimum temperature will be 23 degrees in the northwest, so a bit cooler, and up to 32 degrees in the northeast. On Friday and Saturday, a bit warmer, 27 degrees will be the minimum on Friday, and the maximum will be 30 degrees in central Poland, and on Saturday the maximum temperature will be 32 degrees in the western parts of the country. This is all for tonight. Thank you.
Lednica 2000. For the 23rd time, thousands of young Poles come together to celebrate their Christianity. It all began in 1997 by a Dominican father, Jan Góra. Please stay with me for more of this unique Catholic celebration.
Bądź pozdrowiona, Matko Dziewico, bądź pozdrowiona, Panno nad Pannami, w Tobie obroń.
The Poland White Youth Meeting Lednica 2000, known as Lednica, is an annual gathering of Polish Catholic youth organized near Gniezno in Pola Lednickie, near the Lednickie Lake, which is believed to be the place where the first Polish monarch, Mieszko I, was baptized in 966. It is the largest regular religious youth meeting in the world. Lednica gatherings were initiated in 1997 by the Poznań-based Dominican friar Jan Góra. Since then, they are organized every year and always take place on the first Saturday of June. Pope John Paul II sent an annual special message to participants of Lednica. This tradition was continued by his successor, Benedict XVI. After his papal resignation, the tradition is continued by Pope Francis.
So this is the 23rd Lednica 2000. Can you tell our viewers, they might not know, what is Lednica 2000? What is it?
It is called because of the name of the lake. The lake is called Lednica, and on an island which is in the center of this lake, probably Mieszko and Dobrawa, his wife, first received the baptism, which is called the baptism of Poland. So therefore, Father John Góra, the founder of Lednica, thought it would be the best place to gather a lot of young people to celebrate this presence of God and this tradition of the baptism of Poland. But the inspiration of these meetings came to Father John through the blessed and Saint John Paul II, because they met several times and they spoke. And Holy Father John Paul II told Father John, you see, organize every year in Poland the World Youth of Day. So the World Youth Day, but the World Youth Day is organized every 3 years or 4 years, I don't remember exactly. But we organize the World Youth Day every year here, and this year Lednica is called Polish Panama. So therefore we have people that were in Panama and are with us now in this meeting.
Now the slogan of this year's meeting is, "You know that I love you." What does it mean?
Normally, this is the answer gave by Peter, Saint Peter, when Jesus raised him a question, "Peter, do you love me?" But this year, we reversed this dialogue. And during the meeting, we will ask the Lord, "Lord, do you love me? Because I'm a sinner, I am weak, I know my deficiencies," and we hope to hear God's answer, "You know that I love you." So therefore we are here because we are sick, we are weak, we are sinners, but we know through the faith that Jesus absolves our sins, and therefore we can hear his inner voice when he say, "You know, Wojciech, that I love you."
And also another message is the gift of confession. Can you tell us why confession is so important in our lives?
Yeah, we asked Jesus. Jesus tell us how you give this feeling of your love to people, and he answered, "I will tell you about the confession. I will tell you about the Holy Eucharist, because in the confession I give this feeling, you know that I love you." And Jesus showed us the gospel of the meeting between Jesus and Matthew, which is called the sinner, the publican, that he was hated by other Israelites because he was a tax collector. So he collaborated with the empire, with Rome. And what is amazing in that gospel, that Jesus had come to meet Matthew, and we to explain this mystery we use the picture made by Caravaggio. So it will be also the history of art today during the meeting, and on that picture we see Jesus pointing his fingers in the direction of Matthew, but Matthew makes this gesture, asking, "Me? You came to me the sinner, which is who I am hated by others." But Jesus loved him. So therefore, we are trying to explain that in the Holy Confession, in the Sacrament of Reconciliation, it is the same situation, because we sometimes think these are us to come to Jesus. But the truth is different. It is Jesus that is all the time in a continuous search for us, and he comes and he points his fingers showing, "Hey, you, I love you." And we are asking, "Me? I'm a sinner. It is not possible."
Just last question, how many people do you think, or maybe you know exactly, how many people are here today?
To tell the truth, we never know the exact number, but having the comparison with the other meetings, I think that now we have around 50,000 of people, but people still come, they are still coming, so probably there will be around 60,000 of people.
Can you introduce yourself to us?
My name is Florian Hojairi.
My name's Edith Edwin.
And where are you from?
I'm from Lebanon.
I'm from India.
Now, is it your first time in Poland in general?
We've been here for 2 years.
Okay.
We're studying medicine.
Where?
In Poznan.
And Lednica 2000, is it the first time you came here?
I came here last year.
And you?
No, it's my first time.
And what do you like about it?
Just that there's so many people out here. I didn't think so many youth were involved in the Catholic faith, so this is great.
Now, do you know the slogan of this year's meeting?
You know that I love you.
And what does it mean to you?
I think it's a personal statement, and I really believe that God is saying that statement to every one of us, because we are all special, and we're really important in the eyes of God, and I think we should all realize that.
Very nice. And tell me about Poland. What do you think about Poland? What are the cultural differences from your country?
Well, I lived in the States before, so I guess it's just another Western country for me, but the only thing that I love about Poland is how faithful they are, which is something I never found anywhere else. Even back home, they're a lot more faithful here.
And you?
I really love Poland, and I love the people, and I really admire the sense of the family people have, and the values and the traditions, and I think this is very important because it's also found in my culture. So faith, family, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poland Daily History. Today we are taking a closer look at a historical reenactment scene in Poland. We are here at a medieval fair organized by Fundacja Skrzyżowa Chwały, or the Wings of Glory Foundation. It is an enormous event where hundreds of people all across Poland converge to demonstrate the functionalities of the legendary Polish Wing Hussar Cavalry. First up, we will speak with the historian Dr. Krzysztof Jabłonka about weapons the Polish Hussar Cavalry used on the battlefield, and especially their famous wooden lances, which could be up to 6.2 meters long and were the longest lances ever used by any cavalry formation.
Uzbrojenie husarza było nie tylko drogie, ale i bardzo efektowne.
The Hussars' weapons and armor were very glamorous. They were equipped with various gadgets and additions which had very little practical use in combat. The two metal poles sticking out of the back of their saddles were intended to prevent the Turks or Tatars from throwing lariats at the Polish knights and pulling them from their horses. Later, feathers were added for decoration and, like I mentioned earlier, for catching the wind. But there were two other decorative pieces of equipment. One was a gorget with a Maltese cross. Hussars were in some way Maltese, meaning they were defenders of Christian faith. They weren't a chapter. They could technically get married, but until they reached an officer's rank, they were usually bachelors. The second thing was a beautiful standard, a gonfalon, with two ribbons hanged on a long lance. The lance itself was especially carved from a long tree, usually from linden, but also from oak. They were made from heavier wood, so they could be easily used against an enemy rider. Tatars were easy to throw off the saddle with any kind of lance, but Turks not so much. Turks often had a great set of armor as well, beautifully decorated and well bonded from damask steel to break lances. The Hussar standards were of great importance though, since when they were seen from afar, many soldiers ran away immediately. Interestingly, the standards were white and red, but it wasn't connected to our national colours of today. There was a Maltese cross on the banner, which was white on the red side and red on the white side. You can see such a flag on top of the Sobieski Hotel in Warsaw. So sometimes all it took was showing the standard and the Turks ran away. The hussars fought with such lances, they had to be thrown away after they broke, and you had to hit either the rider or his horse, although horses were more difficult to injure. The lances, thanks to being empty inside, were quite light, but they broke easily. If they got tangled during the fight, they had to be thrown away as well. After an attack with the lances, sabres were immediately taken out, all at the same time, making a distinctive sound. They also had little lead balls which moved from top to bottom of the weapon, making it heavier either at the bottom during duels or at the top during fighting on horses. What is more, hussars had flintek pistols on the sides which they could use during battles. Almost every hussar additionally had sort of a pickaxe called czekan, which was used for finishing off opponents after a first hit with a normal weapon. Czekans were tied to hussars' wrists so they wouldn't make drawing sabres difficult. Last but not least, they were jagatans, which were long knives or almost short sabres, also used for finishing off enemies if anything else failed. Hussars were trained to be able to defend themselves after the horse was killed using the saddle. A beautiful decoration used mainly during parades and rarely in battle were the leopard hides. They were almost always portrayed in these hides on all the paintings, but they preferred to leave them at home for after the battle, so as not to lose them. Those who didn't afford such hides wore wolf or bear hides. It cost half a village at the time to buy a leopard hide. Bear hides were more usually used for cover and warmth in winters. We should say that hussars weren't that effective in cold conditions, but they were deadly during spring, and wherever they arrived, they brought hope with them.
Husarze musieli zimę zawsze przetrzymać, ale na wiosnę rozkwitali. No i tam, gdzie się husaria pojawiała, tam wracała nadzieja.
Polish hussars at times fought side by side with Ruthenian Cossacks, but during Cossack rebellions, two could also find themselves on opposing sides. Next up, we will speak with a member of a historical reenactment group specializing in Cossack history about the weapons used by the Cossack units. So I'm really curious about the weapon the Cossacks use. Are there any special type of weapon of your choice? Like if you were a soldier at the time, what kind of arms would you pick up and equip yourself with?
You see, Cossacks carried a very wide array of weapons, but we must say that the first primary weapon was an arquebus or a musket.
Okay.
It was a primary weapon, and the sword or the saber or the rapier was you took it out from the sheath only when you are losing or you are winning. Because when you are winning, you are when the enemy is broken, you just rush them with your swords. And if you are losing, you are broken, and someone rushes you, so you took your weapon. So they used axes or sabers for melee combat.
Right.
But their primary weapon was an arquebus. It was either a matchlock, rare a wheellock, or very common, maybe more common than matchlock, the primitive flintlock. Because the primitive flintlock appears in the second half of 16th century, the flintlock appears. And the Cossack used Moscovite snap house or snaplock. And we have an arquebus with that lock because it's easier to find a rock on the ground or make a fuse.
Right.
You need people to do it. And if you are on the field or fighting and you are out of use, you always have this rock. And one more thing, when you're on the water, on the Cossack boats, I will talk about them after a second, the match could get wet.
Yes.
And if the match gets wet, it's done. You cannot shoot. So the flintlock was better than you just take the hammer and just fire.
Right.
And in the night partisan fighting, you can see that 100 men goes with the lit match. And you see that there was no cigarettes then, and you see, oh God, they are coming, yes. When they go with wheellocks or flintlock snap hands, you cannot see them because their gun was cooked and they could shoot every moment. They don't need the match.
Right.
The Cossack uses different sabers than the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. They use shorter sabers because they didn't fight on horseback and they fight much on the Turkish galleons.
Okay.
So when they go on board the Turkish galleon, they needed something heavy, very broad, and short. So you can, in close quarters under the deck,
so
you
it doesn't
can fight.
hit the deck and
Yes. So the Polish started recognizing by the mid-17th century about the difference with the Cossack saber and the Polish-Lithuanian saber, which was longer than Cossack saber. And when you fight on the cards, there is a lot of things. There's the cannons, the multi-barreled cannons. There's a lot of people. And if you go with the long saber, you are
hitting all the things.
You are hitting, hooking, all of things. And if you got a short saber, they use special hooks to hang the saber like horizontally. So they didn't hit other people, catch in the wood, or broke the sheet.
As we have seen today, there were plenty of challenges and adversaries facing the Polish-Lithuanian army in the 17th century. But with enough preparation, superior tactics, and armory, the legendary Polish Winged Hussars were able to secure plenty of victories in pivotal battles, ones such as the Battle of Kirchholm, Klusino, and most importantly and famously, the Battle of Vienna. That's it for today. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and I'll see you next time on Poland Daily History.
Well, you can see a lot of interesting things in the old town in Warsaw on a particular Friday afternoon, don't you know? Strolling along, and you never know what kind of interesting people you can run into. Here's one right here.
What kind of entertainment you're going to find?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what we get, folks.
Oh, somebody wants a handshake.
Is that all that happens? Do you do anything else?
I think that we need to drop another one.
Drop another?
Yeah.
Some more money? You got some more money?
I have some.
This guy is expensive.
Please.
There he goes.
Oh, you can
He's
see.
very expensive. Yeah. What do you think? Nice?
It's cheap for you. It should be. How many
I gave him a couple of bucks.
Where are you from? You must be from the US.
From the US, yeah.
Yeah, well, give him another couple. Good,
give a George Washington. Yeah,
that's right.
He's very excited, isn't he? Yeah.
He looks like
Where
he's
are you
about
from?
to run away.
Canada. Oh, good. Yeah. I think he wants more money. You got to feed
Where
this
are you
guy.
from?
That's right.
Toronto.
From Toronto.
He's hungry.
Okay.
You sound like you're from Brits.
He's a hungry fellow. I haven't got any more change.
We are here with Will. We are promoting Poland in terms of its history and traveling.
Yes, we're making travel films about Poland.
Well, that accent, you're definitely not from USA.
Oh, no. I'm a local. Will is from
He's
the
local.
US.
I'm from Virginia.
Yeah.
Where are you from in Canada?
Toronto.
Hi.
From Toronto.
How are you?
I'm Will.
Yeah.
I'm Hania.
Yeah.
How do you do, Hania? You're
Pleasure
of
to
Polish extraction.
Hania.
Are you Polish or
Okay,
not?
that's a Polish name, right?
Italy, born in England, raised in Canada,
Spanish,
and I'm
English,
Japanese
French,
speaking.
You're a Japanese what?
Good to hear.
Speaking.
You speak
Polish.
Japanese?
Well, I used
But you're
to.
Polish background.
We are
somewhat.
with Will. We are from
Hania,
the
sounds Polish.
TV
Yeah.
Republica.
My parents
Okay.
are Polish.
And
Yeah.
we are gathering material
you didn't
about
get
the
the
old
whole
town to
story.
promote
I know, I do it
You've
deliberately.
moved all around. You've moved all around. Many places.
Do it quickly.
Okay.
I'll do it again slower.
Do it slower.
You got a most
Made in
beautiful
Italy, born in
country.
England,
you,
raised
sir.
in
See,
Canada, and I'm a Japanese speaking.
Okay, so parents were diplomats.
Emigrated to
No,
Canada
part
in
of the war
1960.
effort.
Oh, one of those
All my
things.
children, everybody
Yeah.
still speak
You know, they
Możemy
got...
polsko rozmawiać.
Brilliant.
came to
I'm
Canada as
pleased to hear that you
refugees,
still
even though I was
cultivate the
born in
Polish
England.
language.
Right.
Yeah, we came last year
Those times.
with a totally
Well,
different idea.
That's kind of what we're talking about today. We're talking about the rebuilding of Warsaw after the war.
That
Yeah.
was a different time.
It's nice to meet you, Hania. We're going to continue our walk. You're a nice lady.
Poland is better off than Canada.
Good luck in your effort.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your
Sir,
opinion,
nice to meet
sir.
you.
Nice meeting you.
It's a public,
hear that well.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. It's a public TV Republic How is it independent? Is it?
Hold on. It's a television that's let's say just starting this series of programs altogether.
We're filming it all.
Well, we're more into
You're in our
promoting
program.
Poland than anything else. This is our mission. Well, it's a great pleasure to have this conversation, but we
we got to move on.
A
Sir.
Polish one.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I hope there's
Sorry.
some Americans here.
Yes, sir. We hope so too. Yeah.
Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah. That was fun. It's nice, you see, in the tourist season, you come out and people will talk to you, see. Yeah, and you were right, they're from all over.
And a fantastic thing that we've approached people that are in fact of Polish origins.
People, yeah.
The gentleman told me that he still cultivates Polish language in Canada where he lives. His children speak Polish.
Right.
So this is a marvelous thing.
Yeah.
And the lady's name is Hania.
Is a giveaway.
Yeah.
But you said she was made in Italy, born in England, moved to Canada, and is a Japanese speaker.
Okay,
That's
so-
what you said. I had to remember because she was saying, you're not listening. But I was. She just said it too fast.
So the gentleman has told me a bit more of a simple
bit of a different story?
Yeah. I mean,
It's not, her story is not true?
Oh, no, it is, but...
I think it was true.
He would say something a bit more simple than that.
No, I think she was telling the truth. Nice lady.
We have the castle.
Yeah. Wow, this is right in front of us now. So, have you ever been inside the castle? Or?
Couple of times.
You go in there?
Couple of times. And if it comes to going to the Royal Castle, then right now this is the place where you have the most important Polish treasures.
I was
kept.
in there a long time ago. You know, I haven't been there recently. Though.
We'll visit. We'll arrange.
We should go, yeah, and do the special tour inside, yeah? Yeah.
No problem.
I'd like to go back. I was there for a concert a couple of times, you know, this kind of thing.
But the concert visit is a different one.
It's not, no, just inside, but it wasn't...
not as informative.
Yeah, I didn't
one
get
could
the
say.
full tour, yeah, because I hear it's amazing, yeah. Hello?
Jägermeister.
Jägermeister,
Yeah.
my favorite drink. Where are you from? Good
Norway.
Vikings. Good day to you.
Take care.
The Viking contingent there. No, it's just fun walking around talking to people, actually. Yeah. Now, you wanted to say something about the castle. I mean, you know, there's so much to say. What should we say concisely to people to entice them to come and visit? What do they need to know? What's the basic?
The Royal Castle today will betray how big work, how big efforts are put into having the reconstruction achieved in a proper and very diligent way. The Royal Castle today, I will present a short example.
Okay.
You're looking at the castle just in its whole beauty like we have it.
Yeah.
And then I will point out, you're having two chimneys on the top.
Yep.
Then another two chimneys on the other side.
Right.
So originally you would say that the chimneys are used to get the smoke out once you heat up the building. This is a mystification here. These chimneys have not seen smoke even for 1 second.
Right.
The Royal Castle, I should say, has been...
Nice wagon.
Nice, yeah, I mean, the carriage is...
Nice carriage, nice driver.
The driver especially.
She smiled.
Well, I could say. But yeah, the carriages are very characteristic for the old town
I haven't
of
seen many
Warsaw.
young ladies driving these things, but that's good to see. Yeah.
That's a fresh change, right? A
Nice
lady.
entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Usually it's these really, grandpa fellows who look kind of,
the older fellow having his characteristics. Yeah, so
Exactly.
a fresh young face is always good to hear.
No, it's
but
very good.
the chimneys, I said that they've not seen smoke even for a second.
Yeah.
Why? Because the Royal Castle, even though from the outside is authentic, so you're supposed to have a proper image of the 400-year-old building. Then
Right.
inside you have Wi-Fi, sewer system, electricity, heating, all the things that you'll have in your very own household.
Probably better.
Probably even better, yes.
I mean, it's a castle after all. It's probably first class.
and
but castles
prestigious.
in the old, and it's the center of, one
the
of the
legacy
essential
of the Polish nation.
Yeah, exactly. It's the central building in Poland, along with Wawel and Krakow. These are
comparable.
Two essential buildings, and Wilanów, of course.
Yeah,
it's totally reconstructed again. I mean, we keep saying that, but it's important to keep saying it. That what a job they did. How long did it take to do it? I forgot.
Well, if it comes to the reconstruction
Are they still working on
of the Royal Castle,
Yeah.
no, the majority of the work is finished. It's not that the process is still lasting. If it comes to the things that we still wait, so to get them back, these are particular exhibits. Like we used to have a Polish eagle at the back of the throne room. The Polish eagles would be made out of silver piece of cloth. That's extremely precious, extremely difficult to redone now.
Okay.
Because now we are having the manufacturing time has ended. We are having production lines simply delivering thousands of pieces of things that are not as complicated, not as diligent. The little eagles, there were only not more than 2,000 of them. They are all made by hand with a silver cloth. Right now, we have only one. This is original.
That's left, yeah.
That's left, and now...
Where did they go? They were just stolen, I suppose.
They were stolen,
or destroyed.
and then nowhere
Buried,
to be found.
stolen, whatever.
Everything what you say. And then an interesting thing now...
Because this was a major hit by the Germans. I mean, they took this out.
Well,
at the beginning of the attack, didn't they? It was one of the first buildings.
Are arriving,
right?
then do not think that they would arrive, they would enter the building, and they would start looking what's important and what's valuable.
Right.
There is a regular annual visit. If I'm the curator of this place, then I go to Vienna, I go to Berlin, to the national museums, to get to know their tricks to present the exhibits.
Right.
And the Nazi did the very same thing before the war has even started. They would be perfectly aware what to take. There is a gentleman, like a concierge in a hotel, she's just saying, okay guys, you know what to do. Or you already have the lists. So it's not something that they would need a lot of time. This is a well-organized thing. They come, they take what's important, and then this is nowhere to be found. But finishing the case of the eagle, right now we are not able to rework those little pieces of...
They can't make them now. They don't know how.
The craftsman
is gone.
They have no skills.
People think that now, that's an important point. People think about reconstruction. People think that, oh, well, we can do it because we're modern, we can do everything.
And it's like this.
That's not true. Try and find a good person to make us shoes, or a good suit, a person to make a suit. I mean, they still have these things, but they're not arts that, I mean, original, you know, the only way to get shoes or a suit was to go to a tailor or a shoemaker.
Yeah, only option.
And if you wanted silver, it was made by a silver maker?
Yeah,
Silversmith. Silversmith, right. Another wagon, I love this. And another young lady driving it. It's like they've started their own cult of lady carriage drivers, and good for them, yeah. Okay, we're with Poland Daily Travel, and we're standing in front of the castle. Let's get a different perspective. Stay with us, Poland Daily Travel. With me and Peter, we're going on